Hi, thanks so much for joining me for day 27 of the Wonder Wife Workshop. I'm Nikki Friedman. So we've been speaking about our relationship with our in-laws, and today I wanted to add to that discussion. So we left off last time with the scenario where a mother-in-law was being hypercritical of her daughter-in-law. She was being objectively difficult. And the question was, how do you deal with that? The bigger question is, how do you deal with difficult people in your lives in general? So there's a few more points that I wanted to add tonight that hopefully we can put into practice. The first one is take your ego out of the picture. When we can come to realize that just as we have our own flaws and we aren't perfect, we can recognize that our, in this example, mother-in-law isn't perfect either. Just as though we want other people to appreciate us for our hard work that we're doing on trying to be the best that we can be, one step at a time, our mother-in-law wants that as well. Yes, she may be critical. We don't know her whole story, right? We have a Torah obligation to give her the benefit of the doubt. For all we know, she's like really trying to work on herself. Maybe she's actually made huge strides over the past 10 years before we even met her or knew her, right? And we're only seeing a glimpse into her. So try to take our own ego and our judgment out of the picture and instead turn towards empathy, right? So how do we get to a place where we can empathize with somebody who we feel is attacking us and, making hurtful comments to us? So by not taking things personally and realizing that it's really not about me, it's really about this person and their issues. And I don't know all the reasons behind their issues. Maybe they had a difficult upbringing. Maybe they have a challenging marriage. Maybe they don't have a lot of love or support or have low self-esteem in their own life, right? So oftentimes when we encounter difficult people, it has to do with their own stuff. And it's not about me. So when we can build our own self-esteem and get that stuff out of the way, we can turn towards recognizing that this person really is going through a hard time. I can empathize with them. I can feel bad for them. I can show them a little bit more love, right? Now, obviously, yes, if a person is really speaking to you negatively constantly, it doesn't mean that you should just be a schmata, right? So we spoke a little bit last time about actually establishing healthy boundaries, learning a way to speak up for yourself, to stand for your own, dignity, but to do it in a way, of course, that is non-abrasive, that is loving and kind, and waiting for the right moment where we're not all fired up, because it's going to be really difficult to speak that way to somebody when we're feeling so hurt. So taking a little bit of time out, just like we do with our husbands, a little cool down time, and then finding an appropriate way to speak with them. And one other point that I wanted to make tonight was to be able to come to the recognition that everybody needs to feel needed. And many times when our, for example, mother-in-laws are coming into our lives and saying, oh, this is how you could spice the chicken. Oh, let me help. I want to buy some clothes for the kids. I have some really cute things that I want to get for them. And you take it as oh, she doesn't think that I know how to dress my own children, right? So she's looking for ways to feel needed, right? Sometimes we don't see it until our own children are grown up. From what I understand, I still have little ones in the house, but from what I hear from my mother, right, from others, that we don't understand until our own children are out of the house and we feel that emptiness feeling that we're like, oh my gosh, this is how my parents must have felt, and this is how my in-laws must have felt, right? So sometimes when a person is kind of going into your home all the time and telling you should be doing this and you should be doing that, it really has nothing to do with you. As I said, it has to do with their own feeling of needing to feel needed. So we can really capitalize on that and really try to help that person and find opportunities for them that's within our comfort level to give them a chance to feel needed, right? So maybe it could be we really do need a recipe for something, or even if we don't really need a recipe for something, we can ask and say, hey mom, could you give me a great recipe for a dessert? And that I'm sure would make her day, right? To your mother-in-law. I'm just using that as an example. But somebody I was actually speaking with recently was telling me that they were having a really difficult time with their sister-in-law every single time their sister-in-law would come to visit. So as you know, it could be sister-in-laws, it could be your husband's grandparents, whatever it may be. So those are my takeaways for today, and I have a few more points I wanted to make on the subject, so we'll save it for next time, and then we'll wrap it up from there and move on to our next topic. Thanks so much.